we're all warmed up. The Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Bill Bolling. Are you all ready to win?
Well, guys, good afternoon, my fellow Republicans. It seems like every year about this time, we gather together right here in this parking lot, and we have one of these victory rallies. And thank you all so much for coming out today to be a part of this. Look, we know that there are lots of places you could be today, a lot of things you could be doing today, but you're here, I know, because you believe in the cause of good government in America, you believe in the cause of good government in Virginia, and you know that we're going to have better government in Virginia, even better than we have today on Tuesday, when we elect T.J. Aldis, Bryce Reeves, and Tom Garrett to the state. It is a pleasure for Gina Ann and me to be here today, along with this great team, to thank you guys for everything that you've done over the course of the last several months to support our Republican candidates. You know, I've always thought these campaigns were a lot like a military operation. You have to have a good air war that limbers up the other side, and that's the money. That's the TV ads and the radio ads and the mail pieces, which I know you all have seen plenty of over the course of the past several weeks. But no military operation is ever successful without what?
The ground troops.
Boots on the ground. You got to have boots on the ground. And you all are the boots on the ground. You know, you're out there doing what the governor calls the hard work of freedom. You're licking stamps and stuffing envelopes and putting up yard signs and knocking on doors and making phone calls and volunteering to work the polls on election day. And we just want to thank you for that. You did it for us in 2009, and as a result of your work, I think we had a pretty good election day back then. We elected the best governor in the whole USA. We elected a great Attorney General in Ken Cuccinelli. So myself, a pretty good Lieutenant Governor. We did it again in 2010 with our friend Robert Hurt. Elected 4 Republicans. Elected 4 Republicans to Congress in 2010 at any time since 1932. So let me tell you why that happened, and here's the message we've got to get out in these next 2.5 days. It happened because people have seen a remarkable difference between what we believe in and what we can do as Republicans and what our opponents believe in. Let me put it to you this way. If you want to see how government doesn't work, you look north of the Potomac River at Washington, D.C. If you want to see how government does work, you look south of the Potomac River at the Commonwealth of Virginia. Got a bunch of guys up there in the Democrat Party and some in Richmond who believe government is the answer to every problem. But we believe what Ronald Reagan said. Sometimes government is the problem. And sometimes we just need to get government out of the way and empower the private sector and empower people to pursue their own destiny as they see fit, rather than pursuing some nebulous destiny that the government thinks it can create for everybody. People see the difference. That's why only 19% of the people of America think the country is on the right track, but 62% of the people of Virginia think our state is on the right track, and Bob McDonnell has the highest approval rating of any Republican governor in the country today. That's what I told you. You know, people know there's a difference between responsible, results-oriented Republican leadership and the meaningless platitudes of nothingness that Democrats have delivered for the past 3 years. So, you know, we got to get that message out, and that's why I also today want to challenge you to work just as hard as you can for these next 2.5 days. Let me tell you what I believe. There are a lot of races all across Virginia, including these races right here, that will be won or lost in the next 2.5 days.
Yes.
And whether they're won or lost in large part depends on you. The TV ads have been cut, the radio ads have been cut, the mail pieces have been dropped, but who shows up on election day will determine who wins these elections. So I just want to challenge you to double, redouble, retriple, quadruple your efforts in these next 2.5 days. Let's go out and push these guys across the finish line. Let's grow that Republican majority in the House of Delegates. Let's take back that Republican majority in the state Senate. Just think about what we've accomplished in the last 2 years here in Virginia. And think about how much more we can accomplish with this great Republican team helping support the governor and the attorney general and me for the next 2 years. If you'll do that, we'll have some great victories on election night. But my friends, they won't just be victories for our party, not even just for our candidates. Far more important than that. They'll be victories for the future of the greatest state and the greatest country the world has ever known. Thank you guys. Are y'all ready to win? No, that's all right.
Man, and a truly great governor, Bob McDonnell.
Good afternoon. What a treat to be back in Central Virginia where the sun is always out. Thank you so much for all of you coming out today. Eddie, you're still full of all that Irish blarney, but yes, you did a great job. Thank you very much. I've got great news for you. I'm the last speaker. Everything that needs to be said has been said, but not everybody who's said it. And that's why it's my turn now, and I get to say a couple more things. I'm delighted to have the First Lady here with me today, my wife. The only reason I'm at 69% is they did not poll my house, where I'm only at 50%. And we're also delighted to have the second lady, the two top ladies in Well, listen, I am from the government, and I am here to help. And I am here to help all my friends get elected or re-elected here in another 53 hours, and I know that's why you're here today. And I really appreciate all of you coming out. We've just got a great team with my partners, Bill Bolling and Ken Cuccinelli, Senator Norman, Delegate Hugo. It's just a marvelous team in the legislature, and a lot of things have been accomplished so far, but I can tell you we got a long way still to go to be able to capture those great founding visions of Jefferson and Washington and Madison, Henry, who believed in federalism, who believed in the 10th Amendment, who believed in limited government, and we still got a lot of things, I'd say, left to do. Boy, have you got a great group of candidates. I know they're dropping like flies. A couple of them leave every 5 minutes here, so there's only a few of them left. But what a tremendous congressman you've got, and my friend Robert Hurt. You got great supervisors, Ken Cuccinelli. And this region has already sent marvelous legislators like Ed Scott and Mark Obenshain and Rob Bell and who am I missing that's already elected? That you've already sent up to Richmond, but you've got opportunities now that are tremendous here in 53 hours that you can get done. Let me tell you why this is important. This was such an important rally. My son Sean, who's a second-year student at UVA, is missing the Redskins game, so he can be here today. Don't sweat, they're only down 3-0. You can get back and cheer them on here in a few minutes, so just hang in there. But there's a lot left to be done. Let me tell you what's at stake. And you've heard it from my colleagues behind me. This is really about what you believe in Virginia and America. Who do you believe ought to have the mantle of governing for the next 2 years or 4 years so that you and your children and your grandchildren can have a brighter future? Do you believe that government really is the answer to everything, or do you believe that limited government and allowing people to use their God-given talents to pursue the American dream in freedom with a maximum opportunity is the better way to go? I mean, that's the difference in the vision between Republicans and Democrats over the next couple of years. And think about giving government spending under control, how important that is. You know, we're a nation, the greatest nation on earth, as the Lieutenant Governor said, but we are in debt up to our eyeballs, as the saying says in the commercial. Think about what Reagan said. That government spending is like a baby's alimentary canal. It has an insatiable appetite at one end and no responsibility at the other. Mr. Jefferson, you heard him, Jefferson, I think he's famous around these parts. He said a little bit differently. He said, government should not take from the mouth of labor the bread it deserves. And then on the other hand, you got Nick Soslaw, who said on the House floor, Tommy, you correct me if I'm wrong, you can't raise taxes high enough for me. That's a quote. So there's a little bit difference in whether or not we ought to run government like you run your business, like you run your family's checkbook, or whether we ought to run it the way the president is running the federal budget, which is deficits galore. So these are important issues, and that's why I'm glad that you're out here. You've got a great chance to do something that we haven't done but 2 years since the Civil War, and that is to have a Republican governor and a Republican legislature. Don't you think it's time to have that? The Civil War, that was Pat Mullen's first term as RPB chairman. That was a long time ago. So we got a chance to make some history here in just a couple of days. And as all my friends have said, it really comes down to you. I mean, you got great candidates. Your two Senate candidates here, Bryce Reeve, Tom Garrett, are warriors. They're both former U.S. Army officers. They understand the price of freedom. They understand that that red on that American flag is the price of blood that has been paid for centuries to preserve our constitutional rights that Ken Cuccinelli is defending. That's what this election is about. I know warriors and veterans have a special love for freedom, and that's why they're going to make such great representatives for you. And you keep working hard, and I tell you, we'll have a great victory. Now, here's what you can do. There's still 53 hours left. You can sleep on Wednesday, but for the next 53 hours, we expect you to be working. And I think Attorney General drafted for me, and I signed an executive order saying no sleep for Republicans for 53 hours. So there's a lot you can do. I mean, all of you are opinion leaders. All of you know hundreds of people that you can influence over these next couple of days. Some of you are going to go to church tonight. You can talk to folks in the church. You can go home and talk to folks in the neighborhood. Put a bumper sticker on your car. Put a bumper sticker on your neighbor's car. Garrett will come take it off after the election, I promise you. He'll take it, he'll do that. You can talk to people at work tomorrow morning and tell them, look, I don't know how you feel, but TJ and Ken and Tom are best for me and my family because they'll limit our government. They will make sure our taxes and regulations stay low. They'll provide more access to the American dream. Please vote for them. I tell you, you can make a difference because you're opinion leaders. Some of you that are technologically savvy, you can do email. You can tweet. If you don't know how to do that, see my son afterwards. He'll show you how to do that. But you can contact so many people in these next couple hours. You can knock on some doors tomorrow. You can hang out some literature over these next 24 hours or so. There's so much still to do in a low turnout election that I promise you will make a difference on Tuesday. So you've heard what's at stake here, and we just ask you to give us this opportunity so that we can win this year and then govern in a fiscally conservative way. And boy, would that put some wind at our back, so next year we can hire a new president of the United States of America. Thank you very much. God bless you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you all for being here today. As the governor said, there are a lot of things you can do to get the word out. We have flyers back here for Ken's district. We also have flyers for Jim Norwood's district, and for everyone, we have these little cards that say, this is the Republican team. Those names are on there. Please grab a stack of them and hand them out to your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers, and get the word out about our candidates.
Get the right voters to the right precinct so they can vote for the right people.
Hey.